everyone, welcome back to Homestead Reflection. My name is Jamie and today we are going to flip a dining room table and 6 chairs. Now this piece was free. Somebody on my local Facebook marketplace said, someone please pick this furniture up. We're moving and it has to go. So it was free. So I went over there to get it. They did not tell me how heavy the table is, how awkward the table is. So that was a struggle. However, I loaded up and I brought it here and I'm ready to start working on it. I sat on it for about a month trying to figure out exactly what I was going to do with it, and I think I got it figured out. The first thing about the furniture though is that it came from a home from people who smoked. So it definitely has a smoker smell to it. So I found a really good product online on Amazon, which I'll put the link down below, which actually is an amazing deodorizer. It's called the Stink Solution. So I gave it a whirl and I'm very, very happy with it. So I'm glad I have it, because the one thing you find when you pick up free furniture all the time is a lot of it, a huge percentage of the furniture you pick up has either a strong odor from animals or a strong odor from smokers. So now that I found the Stink Solution, I think it's going to help a lot more than the other products I've used in the past. So we're going to first start by giving this table and these chairs a really good bath. So I must admit, after washing the chairs and the table down and getting a better look at them, they are in really good condition. There's not a lot of repair I need to do on them. Now I will say, and I knew this walking into it, it's not solid wood. So I can't like do a natural stain to it or sand it down like it's wood. It is a veneer all the way through. So I need to give it a scuff sand, but I also need to go through each individual chair and the table, and if there's any dents or nicks, just go ahead and smooth it out. So I'm just going to use a little bit of the Minwax Sustainable Wood Filler. You can use any kind of putty or anything like that to fill in the gaps. This is what I had on hand, and I'm just going to go through each chair and the table and make sure I can smooth out any nicks or dents and go through the furniture, so I can go ahead and get it smooth, scuff sanding, if that makes sense. Well, this has been a heck of a project. Very sandy, very dusty, but I was able to get a scuff sand done on the table and all 6 chairs and inside all those little grooves. So now I'm going to give it a wash. I'm going to come in and make sure everything is filled in the way it should be before I set it into its first layer of primer. So let's get to it. One of my most favorite techniques when working with a furniture piece that is not real wood is the faux wood look, which is remarkably easy. First thing I do is ensure that I create a base color that is a light beige. This will give me a foundation in which then I can come in with a glaze, a darker glaze, and actually create the wood grain look. right, so the chairs have been they've been a nightmare, let's put it that way. I started off with them being that beige color because I was going to do that faux wood look just like the table. And then I didn't like it. And I realized how tedious that was going to be getting into the railings. So now I decided to use that beige as a primer, and now I'm making all 6 chairs a light cream, kind of like an off-white. So I'm going to do something completely different. Now I'm going to keep the faux wood on top of the table as the topper. And I think the base I'm going to make cream, and then I'm going to do all the chairs in the cream. I just started. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of the chairs, let them dry so I can get them sealed, and then we'll go back to the table because this job has not been my most fun. Let's put it that way. Okay, so now that I did all those chairs, I'm going to let them dry. They are done, but I'm going to do one final sanding on them so they're smooth like butter. So I thought while they're drying, I'd come in here and figure out what I'm doing with my table. I do like the top. I think I did a really good job with the top, and I do like the faux wood. However, I'm not in love with the whole thing being in that wood look. I'd love to know your opinion on it. You might love it. I don't love it a whole lot, only because now the chairs don't match. I don't know. It's just bugging me. So what I thought I'm going to try is I'm going to keep the table top as the faux wood, and then I'm going to make it two-tone. So then I'm going to go ahead and take all of this off and then give this a paint color just like the chairs so it all kind of coordinates together. We'll see. We'll see. I feel like I never know until I do it. So we're going to go ahead and tape this off, and then I'm going to give it a good couple sets of layers of paint with some sanding in between, and let's see where that leaves us. Okay, so while I'm waiting for the primer to dry, I'm going to work on the seats. So I unscrewed them from the chairs. They were barely holding on. Maybe 1 out of 4 of the screws were in there. So that was easy, I guess. And let's be honest, these seat cushions are pretty gross. So first thing I'm going to do is get all these staples out. Now I used to use like a flathead screwdriver to pop the staples out. That can be taxing. So I found this on Amazon, and it's now like my favorite tool in the whole wide world. It's a staple puller, nail puller. I'm gonna put the link on below for this. This is like up there with a hammer and a screwdriver. This is like one of the best tools. And truthfully, it's as easy as getting under that staple and just popping it out. And the great thing is it's beveled, and so it digs in, where that flathead is literally flat and you got to pry in there to get it, and it doesn't always work. You stab yourself. It's not fun. So this thing, easy, just pries, gets in there. I don't damage the seat cushion, and it's easy, and I don't have to use my hands too much, so I'm not going to ding or cut myself. I highly suggest, if you ever work with seat cushions, this is the tool to have. So I've got 8 of these seats to do. So while that primer is drying, I'm going to go ahead and get these nasty material cushions off of these. Well, I'm super excited. So the dining room table has 6 chairs with cushions, and the fabric that was on it, which I showed you earlier, is gross. Like, maybe it was brown, maybe it was olive green, but now it just looks like mud. So I go to a place called Hobby Lobby, and it's the most amazing craft store ever. And every 3 weeks or so, they rotate out their sales, and their upholstery fabric is on sale, usually for 40% off, probably once a month. So I always wait for that to go on sale before I buy it, because you know, upholstery fabric can be expensive. But I did luck out and I found this really nice neutral tweed upholstery fabric for, I think it was only $18.99 a pound, listen to me, $18.99 a yard, which is fairly inexpensive, and I knew if I waited for the 40% off, that would just be much better. So I needed about 2 yards of it, trying to keep it under $25. This fabric did it. And then lo and behold, the lady at the cutting area saw a defect in the material, so she gave me 2.5 yards at 60% off. So I paid $13 for 2.5 yards of this beautiful fabric. So excited. I love when things like that happen. So I'm cutting 6 pieces of it, of the fabric pattern from the chair. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take it up to the building and get those on the chairs. And then once they're on the chairs, I'm gonna Scotch guard them so they're more resistant to stains and to water. That's a big factor when you're doing pillows, curtains, any kind of reupholstering. Scotch guard is my BFF for that reason alone. So I've got 2 more squares to cut out and I'll be done with this. So I'm totally excited that we are coming to the end on this project. I'm going to do some finishing touches on the paint on the table and chairs, but for the most part, everything is done. I'm coming in now to reupholster these cushions. Remember, I cut all the fabric out, and all I'm going to do now is take all 6 of these cushions and staple them with new fabric. I gave the original foam and chair a little bit of a Febreze. They've aired out and they're really clean, but I'm going to put a little Febreze within. But other than stapling it, these are ready to go. Once I staple it, I will Scotch guard them again. Like I said, it'll just give it a nice little water sealant or stain resistance sealant to it. So that will be it. I'll screw them into the chairs and we should be wrapping this project up. So one of the things, as I'm doing these final touches, I want to touch base on, get that? That was bad, that was a mom joke, is the final details. Like when you flip a chair over, it is so easy to miss the bottoms of chairs. And I'm noticing how many spots I actually missed. It's important to do those. I know if you don't see it, it shouldn't be important, but it's almost more important. So it's basically what you don't see is the important. So if I don't see any scuffs, I don't see any nicks, I don't see any unmissed, I know I have a perfect piece of furniture. But if I can see that something is not done, it really is all you can see sometimes. So definitely go in, find details. I know this takes a little while and you're probably so over flipping that piece of furniture that you don't want to go in and give it that final review and look at where you've missed, but it is that important. So always flip your furniture over, always look at the back of it, touch up where you need to touch up, and I think in the long run, you will be very, very happy that you did that. Well, it's done. I finally got it done. The chairs have been Scotch guarded, everything has been polished, sanded down very smooth, so everything's like better. I'm really, really happy with this. I am really, really happy that I decided to go with a two-tone, making this more of that faux wood and then putting a paint on the bottom. I'm very happy with the chairs. If I had to do it again, I might have changed the fabric a little bit, maybe into like a darker tone. But since I'm dealing with putting this on Facebook Marketplace, I want to keep things as neutral as possible. So I didn't want to get into any funky fabrics or anything like that. But I would have definitely probably gone darker. But I do like the white on white or the cream on cream. I do love that. I love the faux wood. I think it turned out beautiful. And now that the paint is done, everything blends well. And I'm very, very excited about this piece. I'm going to do some research and see what a dining room table with 6 chairs would go for and post it on Facebook Marketplace. I'll definitely keep you updated on that. So what are some of the things I took away from this project? Number one, dining room tables and chairs are no joke. It is not like spray painting or painting or staining a pair of nightstands. Not too sure if it's a profitable thing or not. Two, I take away from this is it is really, really important to go over everything with a fine comb. There's a lot of hidden spots where it is very, very easy to miss, especially when you're dealing with light colors. Light colors, I feel like, for me at least, show everything. So it's really important to make sure you go through your work slowly and surely, especially on white things. You can't really see where you painted and where you haven't painted, and it can trip the mind. So go slow on projects like this. Take your time with it, because it's easy to miss something. Number three, and I think this is the most important thing as a takeaway, flip your furniture over and look at the back of your furniture. It is really easy to miss a lot of spots. Now, just because you don't see it as a focal point doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I'm gonna use this as an example. One of the first pieces I did with this, the paint sprayer, and I did the front, the sides, the back, obviously. I did the drawers. As long as you could see it, I did it. And it wasn't until my customer came to pick it up that he took the drawers out and he flipped it upside down to put in his car, and all you see is paint strokes and where I didn't paint and the original wood. And honestly, he didn't say anything, but I was really embarrassed. I was embarrassed that I didn't take the time or the energy to really make sure the whole piece was completely painted and polished. I think that alone is the difference between being professional and trying to make a quick buck. And when a customer comes and picks up a piece of furniture, you want to make sure it is worth their money and you put everything and all your pride in it. I think so even with chairs, because I've missed so many spots on these chairs, and it wasn't until I was putting the cushions on and I turned it upside down, I was like, whoa, there's a lot of places that I missed. And when you're moving chairs around, because chairs are probably the most trafficked furniture there is, you want it polished, you want it completely done, inside, outside, sideways, backwards, frontwards, whatever. You want it perfectly done, and you don't want to be embarrassed about your work either. So one, I'm not too sure this is profitable. I may not do one like this again, but we'll see how that goes. So just be mindful. And if you're going to do things like this, be mindful how much time and energy, like railings and stuff like that, take. Two, take your time, especially when you're dealing with cream or colored or white paint. You can't see a lot of blemishes when you're working on it, and it's really easy to miss it. So pay attention, go slow, be a little bit more methodical with your work. And then number three, of course, flip your furniture over, make sure you get all the details, make sure you paint and get everything in there, and it's perfect to go. So that's it. I'm going to put this on Facebook Marketplace, and I will keep you updated on my bites and hopefully a really decent sale, because if I didn't have a dining room table, I would probably take this home with me because I love it.